which we've seen with Fortnite. And we will see this with more games. Trust me, we will see it with more games. Hey, welcome back to Gears and Tech. Today we are reviewing a very hot topic right now, and that is around this, which is a Cronus Zen. This is a cheat device. Everyone knows this is a cheat device, and it is a very bad day for cheaters. It's a very good day for people who hate cheaters, but it's also kind of a bad day for me. Before you get too judgmental on this, the reason why it's a bad day for me is not because I cheat. It's because I rely on this cheat device in order to use my PlayStation 4 controller on PlayStation 5 games. I have made another video that details exactly that and how to hook it up and how to use it. So this video is not talking about that. This video is talking about some recent changes to how Sony handles these devices here. This first became very widely known information when the Call of Duty Vanguard beta came out. When the beta came out, they had a weekend where you could download the game and play for free. So I did that. And what happened was my current setup, which consists of a Cronus Zen, a Hori controller, which plugs in like that, and that allows the Hori controller to share the license with the Cronus Zen so that the Zen registers on the PlayStation 5 as a PlayStation 5 controller. And then I can plug any PlayStation 4 controller I want into this, and everything's happy. I can play PlayStation 5 games with a PlayStation 4 controller. But it wouldn't allow it. It didn't work. The beta closed, and I forgot all about it. Recently, Fortnite has been updated as well. And the update to Fortnite has also included whatever Vanguard had to make this setup not work. Fortnite was upgraded to also include that. And this is why it's so concerning, because currently this device will not function on the PlayStation 5 playing games such as Fortnite. Or when the new Call of Duty game comes out, Vanguard, this will probably not work. What does that mean? First of all, I had to test it and prove it. So I'm going to go to my game system. I'm going to show you the different errors that are generated by booting the system. And then I'm going to come back and talk about what we found out. So I'll show you what I have set up here. This is a PlayStation 4 controller with a strike pack on that I use for the back buttons. It is hardwired into the PlayStation 5 down here. And I'm going to try and launch Fortnite. Now you can see Fortnite is a PlayStation 5 game. So I'm going to just try and launch Fortnite just like this with the PlayStation 4 controller. So you can see it's opening, and then it says PS5's games can't be played using the current controller. So that's this controller. And then it goes to starting Fortnite. I go to connecting, press X to start, and I get nothing. So I'm pressing X, I get nothing. Okay? Now, I'm going to exit the game. I'm going to go to the switcher. I will go to Fortnite, and I will close the game. So it's going to close. Now I'm back to the main menu. Now, I'm going to unplug the PlayStation 4 controller, and I'm going to plug in my Cronus Zen with my Hori controller plugged into the side port here. And then it allows me to play PlayStation 5 games with my PlayStation 4 controller. So I'm going to plug this in now. I'm going to put this down here. I have nothing else plugged into this. So now I need to connect a controller. So now I'm going to take the same PlayStation 4 controller with the USB cord. I'm going to plug it into the controller port on here, like that. Now I can control the game again. What I want to do is boot up Fortnite again and see if it gives me the same error or if I get a different error. Depending on the error will tell me what's going on behind the scenes here. Now, you'll notice it is now connecting, and I did not get the error up here that I got before. That error saying I can't play with a PlayStation 4 controller did not come up. So now I'm going to press X and nothing happens. It is important to distinguish between these two situations. In one situation, when it started, it said you have to use a PlayStation 5 controller to play this game. In this configuration, it does not give me that error. It just doesn't work. Now I'm going to go back to the studio. I'm going to explain what this actually means and tell you what some of our options are to actually make this work. So as you just saw, the errors that are generated by the PlayStation 5 are different depending on the scenario that you've set up. When we have just the PlayStation 4 controller plugged in, it gives you an error saying, hey, you've got to have a PlayStation 5 controller in order to play this game. When I hooked up the Cronus Zen with my Hori gamepad in the configuration that has been shown to work for PlayStation 5 games, and I go to use this controller, I do not get that error. The PlayStation believes that it has a PlayStation 5 controller still. That means this is not a firmware block. But when I start pressing X on the controller to go into the game as indicated on the screen, nothing happens. That means that the game itself is somehow using software to detect the Cronus Zen and not allow it to be used. So again, this is great news for people who hate cheaters. I don't like cheaters either. I don't play as a cheater. I don't use the features on here. Here's the thing. If you're like me and you prefer your PlayStation 4 controller, are there any options for you to be able to actually connect this setup on your PlayStation 5? No. The answer is straight up no. If the game has been patched to not allow this configuration, it just doesn't work. I did have some questions though. Can it work in different configurations? Can it work if I try some different things? So I have tried some different things. I've done some research on different things, and I want to go over with you guys my findings on what I discovered with this. So that's what this video is going to cover from here on out, are what are your options, what's going to happen, and what does the future hold. First of all, if the game that you're playing supports PlayStation 4 version of that same game, the easy thing is to switch to the PlayStation 4 version of the game and just play that on the PlayStation 5, because then the cheaters will benefit from this, because then you could plug this in and still cheat. In my case, if I can play PlayStation 4 version, I would just plug this directly in so that I gain my back buttons without the cheat device. In the case of Fortnite though, that's not an option. If you have a PlayStation 5, Fortnite will not allow you to install a PlayStation 4 version of the game on the PlayStation 5. It blocks it out. I tried to install it directly with the PlayStation. I tried to install it remotely through the PlayStation app. It just won't allow it. So for you guys, you're stuck. You can't use this configuration right now. The other question someone would have is, what if instead of using the Hori controller, I use the Zen dongle? And if you're not sure what the Zen dongle is, here we go. This is the Cronus Zen PS5 dongle. All that really does is they've taken the license that is generated from the Hori controller pad and they have put it onto a chip in the PS5 dongle so that when you plug the PS5 dongle into here, it is exactly the same as if you plugged the Hori gamepad into here. They've just stripped that license off. They're probably at risk of being sued if Hori ever wanted to go after them and could prove that it's on there. But I have very high confidence that that PS5 dongle is strictly putting the license from the Hori pad onto here from a little USB thumb drive. This is very big and cumbersome, so when I've got this plugged in, it's quite the setup hanging from my PlayStation 5, whereas the dongle would be only this big right here. So it's a lot neater configuration. It's also, curiously, the same price as a Hori gamepad. So if you didn't have a Hori gamepad, you could buy that dongle. It is better in a lot of ways. But because it's the same, it has all the same limitations as this Hori gamepad. So here's the thing that I want to look at. Cronus has made a compatibility chart. On this chart, they include all of the PlayStation 5 games, or at least a lot of PlayStation 5 games, the confirmed working or not working status for this configuration. So you can see on this list, the ones that are green are confirmed working. So if I go to Call of Duty Vanguard, you will see that it says red. It does not work. and it says PS4 version is okay. So what's the solution? If you need this Hori device, or you want to be able to use your PlayStation 4 controllers, you need to buy the PlayStation 4 version of the game and not the PlayStation 5 version, and just run it on your PlayStation 5 in Pro mode. This early on in the generation, it's not a big deal because there's very small benefits from being on the PlayStation 5 version versus the PlayStation 4 version. If you really want the PS5 version and you want both, what I would recommend is watch for a digital multi-pack. So with Call of Duty Cold War, I bought the PS5/PS4 multi-pack. It costed $10 more than just the PS5 game by itself. It allowed me to put the PS4 version on my wife's PlayStation, but I could also install the PS4 version on my PlayStation and use my PlayStation 4 controller. That gives Cronus time to figure out how to get this working again. Now, if I go down further, I can see PS4 Doom Eternal is a similar situation. All of kind of the A-list games are getting better. You'll see here Fortnite. This is what the big question is. Fortnite does not work on the PlayStation 5 version. It has been patched. And it says right here in the notes, PS5 version patched. It's been patched. It's not coming back. It didn't just accidentally stop working. They made it stop working. And it says here PS4 version bad. That means you can't install the PS4 version. So if you have a PlayStation 5, you're not using a Cronus Zen. Period. It's not going to happen. There's one way that you can make it work, and that would be to use remote play. You could connect the Cronus Zen to your laptop, plug your controller into the Cronus Zen, and then use remote play to connect from your laptop to your PlayStation 5. Now, I tested this configuration. It will work. I promise you that that configuration will work. However, I experienced so many stutters and glitches that you're not going to be competitive anyway. There's just too much latency introduced by going from your PlayStation to your computer to online play, going through all of this configuration. It's just not a good way to try and do it and be competitive. You can minimize a lot of that by doing a hardwired connection to the PlayStation 5, hardwired connection to the laptop, make sure you got a fast laptop, and that you're on a connection that nobody else is saturating, trying to watch Netflix or whatever while you're trying to do this. And you might get some pretty good speed. However, you will introduce milliseconds of delay, which gives you a competitive disadvantage. So it's not a good way to go, but it can work. Interesting note with the Cronus Zen is on their website, they say, just like the PlayStation 4 has always required an authorization controller, the PS5 will always require the PS5 dongle or specialty controller to authenticate. Otherwise, your game and controller will disconnect randomly every 8 to 10 minutes. And people have experienced that when they've plugged this into the wrong USB port. It needs to be plugged into the side. Some people accidentally plugged it into this USB port and then it always disconnects on you. That's why that did that. I'll explain real quickly why they say it will always be needed. This does not contain any ability to bypass or mess with the PlayStation 5 or the PlayStation 4 or any of the other systems for that matter. The way they get around that is by borrowing the license off of a licensed controller. So when I plug this in, it just borrows that license, patches this through to the PlayStation. That keeps them really free and clear from any issues with using this device. By shipping the PS5 dongle, it does open them into a gray area where they could get a cease and desist. But if they do, it's just a $40 dongle that they stop selling from their website, and it becomes made available through third-party sites or through affiliates or whatever, so that it's still available to the market so that you can marry these two. It's similar to an emulator is not illegal, but an emulator that contains Sony code on it to allow the emulator to run is illegal. And that's why you can download emulators, but you have to go and find your own game image, or you have to go find your own firmware image for the emulator to use. This is working in that same way. And that's why they say it's never going to stop doing that. So they can't add code on here that makes it bypass the PlayStation 5 security because it becomes a dangerous place to be. Ask GeoHot how it goes trying to screw with Sony's property. They don't take it kindly, and I don't think Cronus is going to go around trying to fight Sony. They'd rather just stay out of their way, let Sony do their thing. So this isn't new, they say. It does this with the PlayStation 4 also, and thankfully the solution still works with zero disconnections. They go on to say in here, the PS4 specialty workaround may not work with some newer PS5 titles such as Call of Duty Vanguard, and some older games are being patched to not support PS4 controllers, which we've seen with Fortnite. And we will see this with more games. Trust me, we will see it with more games. I'm surprised Warzone hasn't been patched to make this same thing work. It's really weird that they haven't. It kind of sends that message that Activision doesn't care about cheaters, they care about money. And I really wish that they would patch this out on Warzone to get a lot of the console cheaters out. I also found further in their website where Cronus is saying they're trying to figure out a way so that they can make this work regardless of the patch. That's good news for people who rely on this to be able to use other controllers like myself, but it makes you think, yeah, somebody's really, a smart guy is clicking away at a computer trying to figure this out. What I honestly think they're doing right now, they're waiting until an authorized third-party controller, such as this, is released for the PlayStation 5 as a PlayStation 5 controller. Keep in mind, right now we only have the PlayStation 5 controller, the DualSense. That is it. There's no Pro controllers, there's no Elite controllers, there's no smaller controllers for people with small hands, there's no game sticks, there's no arcade controllers, nothing. If a third-party company could get aftermarket controller with Sony licensing that specifically allows that controller to be used as a PlayStation 5 controller, I promise you at that point, the patch would have a workaround. They would strip the license info off of this controller and they would stick it onto the PS5 dongle, and you would be forced to buy the PS5 dongle so that you can use this. That will come. Eventually, third-party controllers will come. And when that happens, this device will be unlocked a lot more. So, you really only have two choices right now. And this is relevant to Fortnite players right now, but it will be very relevant to future gamers of any PlayStation 5 games because they're very likely to start doing the same thing with those. So option number one, play the PlayStation 4 version of the game. So you can use this or this, which is what I use it for. Play it through remote play, which I've already discussed. Or the third option, which I'm not going to cover in this video, but I am in the process of building my own PlayStation 5 Elite controller. If you have not subscribed to this channel yet, subscribe down below, smash that like button, because when that video comes out, you're going to want to see what I've done and why I think it's so great and why I don't need this anymore once I've done that. For now, we have a lost cause situation right now where this is not coming back. And that's just what we got to get used to. So sell it now while it's worth something. Just get out or switch to PC gaming. Cheating's a lot easier on PC gaming if you are cheating. In my case, I'm going to move on to my PlayStation 5 Elite controller once I get it built and working correctly. I hope you did enjoy this video today. Don't forget to check out some of our other videos over here. There's a lot of great content in the back library. We hope to see you again, but until next time, have a great day.